Iddang kopana bhikkhave dukkha nirodham ariya satcham yotasayeva tanhaya.
Good evening, Dhamma friends. I would like to begin today's Sutta studies by wishing you happiness and peace. As a result of this effort we all take as a group, may all of us and your family members, friends, relatives be well, happy and peaceful. With that wholesome thought, let's begin today's Sutta study class. Today is September 17, Saturday night. We have been halfway through in this month as well. So day by day, we have things to do and we don't feel time passing. That's how the human mind works when it is busy with either good things or bad things. You don't feel time. That's my understanding. So anyway, wishing everyone happiness. Let's begin today's discussion. First of all, we respect the Buddha by reciting Namo Tassa 3 times, and this veneration is from on behalf of everyone, and may these blessings also be with everyone to begin the Sutta study class with the right effort and to continue it until we end this Sutta study. So let me recite the Namo Tassa in Pali and also repeat the English translation of it for the respect to the Buddha. And also we respect the Dhamma and Sangha by doing this Sutta study class. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened One. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened One. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened One. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Friends, the discussion is about four Brahma Viharas. That is our topic for today's Sutta discussion. You might be surprised to see that there is no Sutta for it from Digha Nikaya, Samyutta Nikaya, Anguttara Nikaya, or Kuddaka Nikaya, or any other books. The reason why I did not send you a particular discourse because these four Brahma Viharas are scattered everywhere in the Tripitaka. And if you take a sutta that explains the metta, there you find other three important aspects of the same category, so that you can find many discourses where the Buddha talks about the four Brahma Viharas, so that I did not send you any particular discourse as I selected. So friends, we have been discussing Dhamma based on many Dhamma topics, suttas, throughout last couple of years. And we have been covering these four aspects indirectly. The reason why I say this because the Brahma, the very word Brahma, is a synonym for full enlightened person or Arhant in Pali. So Brahma in other religions like Hinduism is the name for the Almighty God. The Brahma is one of the faces of the Almighty God, and he is always when he has that nature, when he's always in pure state of mind, he's called Brahma, and he's dealing with all kinds of good things. So particularly Brahma for them is also something peaceful. But when it comes to Buddhist teaching, the Buddha clearly take this word into his teaching to explain the person who doesn't have any unwholesomeness in mind. In that sense, Arahant is called Brahma in Buddha's teaching. Bahita Papa Dhammoti Brahmano, the one who has cast off all kinds of unwholesomeness, is called Brahma. Again, it is an Arahant. So the one who has eradicated all kinds of unwholesomeness is Arahant, and the way he lives is called Brahma Vihara. Therefore, these four, with one word, Brahma Vihara, is translated as divine abodes or divine dwellings. These are the common terms that English speakers use for Brahma Viharas. You can also say for Brahma Vihara, as we rightly mentioned, or divine abode or divine dwelling. When it comes to four Brahma Viharas, we find it in Karaniyametta Sutta, Etang Sating Aditteya, Brahma Metang, and so on. So when a person develops metta into the highest extent, he or she carries the other three qualities of Brahma Vihara also. That's why he is going to be, like Brahma. He is going to be, he's going to be perfect with all the wholesome qualities. So we found that in a statement in Karaniyametta Sutta. So we find one of the discourses in Samyutta Nikaya where Buddha talks about the development of Satta Bojjhanga. Brahma Vihara means loving kindness, metta, karuna, compassion, mudita, sympathetic or altruistic joy, and upekka, equanimity or balance or equilibrium. Those are the words that many people use. These four could be the way to development of 7 factors of enlightenment. So when somebody develops 7 factors of enlightenment based on compassion, he can develop the 7 factors of enlightenment without obstacle. So that is what this Samyutta Nikaya Sutta says about Brahma Vihara. So that is really interesting. And look at these 4. And when we talk about the Samatha meditation techniques, we have these 4. And when we talk about paramita, the perfection, we find these some of these vihara, particularly metta paramita. And the karuna, when we come to karuna, it is talking about the external appearance of metta. So the Buddha has Mahakaruna, the great compassion. What does it mean? And why don't other people have great compassion? So how one develops metta and how one develops karuna? Are they conjoined together and are they developing alone? So these are some of the important questions we should ask from us when we research on the 4 Brahma Viharas. There are many scholars who made very nice booklets and research studies on Brahma Vihara based on canon and also other commentaries. And you can find some monks and nuns and even lay people in Buddhism, out of Buddhism, talk about karuna, metta, loving kindness, compassion, and other important qualities based on the four Brahma Viharas in numerous ways. So that I think these four are the most popular terms in Buddha's teaching in general average crowd who listen to the Buddha's teaching, who talks about the Buddhism, because they are very simple in one way. On the other hand, they are very appealing to many people. So that for Brahma Vihara, at least first two are being talked about a lot in every platform, every social context in this world. So that there are confusion too. When we talk about first two of the four Brahma Viharas, people think that the Buddhist term metta and karuna are being discussed everywhere simply because they use this word. But I would disagree with that, because the metta in Buddhism and karuna in Buddhism are very deep, and they are very attached to the other teachings of the Buddha. Nothing could be developed without sammaditthi. Even karuna and also metta, loving kindness and compassion, according to the degree of Buddha's teaching, should be developed based on right understanding the first factor of sammaditthi in the Noble Eightfold Path. So that some people may have compassion and kindness, but the level of compassion and kindness the Buddha expects from us, based on the teaching, is something higher and widespread. So we can talk about these things in details. So basically, metta, we'll start with metta. Metta sahagatena chetasa. This is quite similar in suttas, with loving kindness in mind. That's the simple translation. So metta sahagatena chetasa, do physical, mental, verbal activities. It means based on compassion, talk about something you want to talk about with your friends, mother, father, friend, teacher, and anyone. Based on karuna, split words out. Based on mudita, keeping the whole scope of upekka in mind, just talk about. So we can see this metta sahagatena chetana kaya kammang karoti, vachi kammang karoti, mano kammang karoti, and so on, based on loving kindness, based on compassion, based on so and so, we can talk, we can act, we can also think, so that the result is really good and beneficial for oneself and others. So back to metta. Metta is such a wonderful term. It's soothing word for us because it talks about goodwill in mind, benevolence in mind. The total opposite of metta or loving kindness is anger, hatred, ill will. That is not pleasant to even animals, even invisible living beings. That is affecting negatively to everyone. So that metta, the total opposite of anger, is the key thing for all of us. If you remember the statement of the Buddha towards Venerable Ananda, when he talks about the loving kindness, what the Buddha said to Venerable Ananda, he said that not only part of the sasana is based on loving kindness, it is totally depending on loving kindness. The development of the sasana, and also the beginning, and also the maintenance, and also the development of the sasana, not only now, Venerable Ananda, even in the future. Not only that, even in other Buddha's dispensation in the future, this particular quality should be there. Why? How can we say that? Because without metta, without goodwill, you are not going to practice Dhamma the bodhisattvas never goes to practice such dhamma for them to attain enlightenment without goodwill in their mind. Without we can attach the next quality also, compassion. So what is metta then? It is goodwill, feeling the feeling that I consider everyone equal. Equal means we can find different attitudes of different people. This equality is the way you treat. The way you treat your, is equal. That's what we mean here. So when we consider the suffering as a reality of our life, dukkha is the reality of our life. Not only us human, even divine and Brahma and animals and hell, we all have suffering as the underlying tendency. So that we should have compassion in mind and loving kindness in mind in order to help ourselves and others. So they are universal. That's why we call it universal compassion. It means that the way you love yourself, the very word love is not that meaningful when we come to loving kindness, metta, but I use it because people understand the Buddha's term with such terms. So when you love yourself, you feel good. And when you love others equally, you feel good and everybody else also feel good. So that these are fundamental qualities for each and everyone. So metta is therefore key for the four Brahma Viharas, but metta could not be developed alone. As I said, to practice real metta or loving kindness, you should have right understanding and also the support of compassion and sympathetic joy and also equanimity. The support from these qualities should come together to make the metta quality a meaningful one. That's why I told you that Paticca Samuppada is linked to each and every words and syllables and vowels in the Buddha's teaching. Every movements, every actions, every reactions are supported by each other. So the underlying quality in the Buddha's teaching is Paticcasamuppada. So when we come to Brahma Viharas, one quality is developed with the support of the other quality, and that developing quality is supporting other qualities to come to the state of the completion. So metta is therefore benevolence, and to have it, we need the support of other important cardinal principles. So in suttas, you say that metta is developed without, I would say, by mentioning any particular names. In commentary, we find that I first develop metta for myself, and then once you do it, when you have done it, you consider close one, and then the expansion of loving kindness goes from person to person until you develop it to the entire universe. That is how the commentary basically make it. But when we come to Sutta studies, we find that metta is taught by the Buddha in such a way that you don't develop any unwholesomeness in it. The reason why I mentioned the commentarial method, those who do not have that understanding about what this life is and what the Buddha's teaching is about, you may cultivate Sakkaya Ditthi indirectly in the metta formula in commentary. If I say this from another word, you will get it. When we start practicing loving kindness, may I be well, happy and peaceful and so on, you can create Sakkaya Ditthi or attachment in it because you wish only good things for you. You don't wish anything negative. Of course, we don't want to wish anything negative even in normal setting. But when you talk about only peace, happiness, me, It should be me there with all kinds of things, and it should be me who should experience all kinds of joyful things. So hiddenly in this mind, you could develop sakkayaditi. That's why look at the. That's why Buddha said very clearly that just develop metta to close people, to people who are far away from you, to living beings close by, and to living beings who live in distant places, and long, large, medium, short, visible, invisible. In that statement in Karni Metta Sutta, Buddha did not mention any names, any relationship like mother, father, brother, sister, and so forth. So I think my personal understanding is to stick to Buddha's own advices, direct advices about developing metta, so that there is no any confusion happen on the way of metta practice. If you look at the practical experiences of those meditators who practice metta, they get angry easily. So because they practice metta meditation just by repeating words, just by repeating some Pali or English or any other language, phrases, how somehow they have not developed metta. I think the problem is the method. So if you understand that you are a mortal person made up of 4 elements, there is nothing but these skandhas, that's all. So you are going to experience impermanence and so forth, and there is the beginning of this life, and also there is an end of this life. So I'm not a permanent entity, so that you are going to have that metta strongly because you see who you are. But when you take the metta method according to the commentary, without knowing all these things, you want to take you into a state where there is no suffering, and that could be for some people sakkaya ditthi. And when you develop sakkaya ditthi in the good name, it doesn't matter. You can create anger because you have been cultivating something negative. So that's why I always is in the opinion that we should stick to Buddha's method in Karani Metta Sutta in practicing loving kindness. So metta is a paramita too. It means it's a very dedicated practice. As long as you wake up, and now I based on suttas, you develop loving kindness to everyone. Sabbe satta bhavantu sukhitatta. What does that mean? May all beings have happy mind, happy lives. Not only human, not only your son and daughter, not only your husband and wife, not only your father and mother, all beings. So if you sleep with this thought in mind, you will wake up with the same thought. And when you start the day with the thought, may all beings have happy mind, may all beings have happy lives, you are going to mix that statement with all kinds of activities you do. I'm not saying that everybody is skillful doing that, but you somehow manage to at least add that mentality into some experiences into a certain extent, so that the mundane success in every activities would be visible. So that we have tested this many times. So long you keep loving kindness in mind, the better outcome is there always for you. So metta is therefore is a concept in mind where this quality is embedded in Noble Eightfold Path. It is found in Samma Sankappa, right? Avyapada Sankappa means the thought process against of anger, which means the loving kindness. And the metta is developed when you practice samadhi also. So that metta by that term is not included in some aspect, but metta is everywhere. As the Buddha said, it is the foundation of the sasana. From Kalyana Mittas, you find this quality very much. So Kalyana Mitta always show you loving kindness, kaya metta sahagaten kaya kammena, vachi kammena, mano kammena, so that it is very important. And as I said, when you practice metta, it is a individual internal quality. You develop it in your heart, in your mind. So it's the sense of the Kalyana Mitta, it's the sense of the Sappurisa. So now you see somebody is in a positions to get your help because of illness, because of other things, so that you, despite any disadvantage, you go and help. That is called karuna. Let me remind the statement in the commentary about compassion. Karuna paradukke hade kampanang karoti iti karuna. If I'm not wrong, this is the statement. When you say somebody suffer from illnesses or any problem, you consider that it is your own problem. It doesn't mean that you invite troubles into your mind and attach to these people and all the situation and mess up everything. But you consider his or her feeling and you want to help, you want to support, you want to take that particular person into positive side, so that you may go and help whichever way you can in order to take that person out of suffering, out of dukkha. So this is why Buddha's karuna, Buddha's Mahakaruna come into effect. He got the confirmation from the Dipankara, the previous Buddha, to be enlightened in the future. And what he thought was, not only me should get out of this sansara, this whole mass of suffering, I want to show the path for other living beings. That's what I mean. So that's what I expect to do. So that he started practicing great compassion. It's immeasurable. It's not matching with other people. We don't have great compassion. We don't have Mahakaruna. It is regarding with Bodhisattva, and only the Buddhas have Mahakaruna. So Mahakaruna is always attached to taking many people, many living beings out of suffering by showing them the path and teaching them about the enlightenment. So we may have karuna. Karuna is again compassion. You help somebody to get out of suffering. It could be either temporary release of suffering or long term. Suppose you have compassion for some people and you are trying to teach them the method of alleviating suffering, as the Buddha said. So that compassion is so powerful, because just giving material things help them to live right now, but showing them the path for alleviating suffering is long term, and it is the highest. So compassion in such a way is something very important. And first you should have loving kindness in mind in order to have compassion. It doesn't mean that you could practice basically compassion as the mainstream of practice and then cultivate loving kindness together with it. It could be, because according to Samatha meditation technique, and also if you read the Anapanasati Sutta in Majjhima Nikaya, the Buddha clearly mentioned that some monks in his order practice karuna as their main meditative subject. When we take this concept as meditative subject, it has some weight, it has some depth in it. So there were monks and nuns who took this metta and karuna as their meditative subject. It shows that we can take karuna to developed within and share it with. So when you have karuna, what exactly you have, you always look for opportunities to help. Sometimes you skip your meditation, daily meditation, and go and help somebody. Sometimes you skip your eating lunch and give it to somebody on the road. Sometimes you have enough less money in your pocket just to spend something important for you, but you find somebody who really need some food, so you might postpone your important things to be done and helped. So these are some of the examples of action of compassion. So if you have compassion, definitely you have compassion for you as well. What does it mean? If you have compassion for you, you of course do only good things. You never want to do any bad things, whether it brings you sensual pleasure or joy. You think about the karma effect you get out of these activities. So if you have compassion and loving kindness, you definitely think about the karma you do before you do it, right? So it's like two sides of one coin. When you have metta, your actions are turned into compassion in many cases. But understand the differences. Metta is an individual, very particular mental state, and karuna is mostly depicting in us when it comes to helping somebody. That's how we see the differences of both qualities. You are not going to hurt anyone if you have karuna, and if you always dedicate your time to support somebody. So let's go to the third one, mudita. Before I go to the third one, I just want to make this point that metta and karuna always are developed together. And when it comes to mudita, it's a clear indication of division. I'm not saying that these four Brahmaviharas are different from each other. Of course, they have differences, but the metta, karuna are closely going with. When it comes to mudita, it is very closer to upekka than the other two. This is my personal understanding. Because mudita, when it comes to mudita, it's a very skillful ability. It is a very rare ability in living beings. Because what is mudita means? You are happy by seeing others' success, spiritual success, material success, and so on. So it's harder for people to do. If you have loving kindness and compassion in heart, you would be doing it easily, because there is no point for you to be angry, upset, jealous on somebody else's success, because you have compassion. You always speak of goodness of people. You always speak of goodwill of people, so that being happy with others' success could be easily done. But lack of metta and lack of compassion made people not to have the third one, mudita. So I think if one has mudita, he or she has metta and karuna also. Into certain degree, upekka also should be there, because your happiness now is not depending on certain material things, because you have seen your mind very well, you have seen something greater, so that's why you could be happy with others' success. So mudita is such that you can, of course, encourage yourself to practice it. How do we practice mudita as a training principle or training aspect? So try your best to think about how happy these people are when they have enough food, enough shelter, a perfect shelter, medicine, and other requisites. For example, a good mother and father always become happy when they see their children's success. No expectations except being them to except them to go forward. Likewise, we should cultivate this very quality mudita. I have heard some other interpretations too, which I'm okay with them. One is that mudita comes to you when you understand the theory of dukkha. The Buddha explained dukkha as birth, and due to birth, aging, sicknesses, old age, dying, and in between birth and death, you have so many other things to undergo. So when one understands all these aspects of dukkha through personal experience, so there is an internal happiness. So that is also called mudita, because you are happy because you see the truth. Why does this interpretation or commentary is there? Because right after mudita in the order we have upekka. Upekka is the quality to be silent, be equanimous, no bias at all. So when you have upekka right after this, if you follow the order, in mudita you have some sort of very solid, very peaceful state of mind for that person. So there are such additions too. When we see the discourses where these four Brahma Viharas are explained, this is how it explained. How monks does a monk cultivate the heart's released by sympathetic joy? What is its goal, its excellence, its fruits, and its outcome? Actually, this is the first discourse I quoted about, that is about 7 factors of enlightenment. So the Buddha talks about in this regard, monks, particular monk cultivate the enlightenment factor of mindfulness, accompanied by sympathetic joy. That means we should have sympathetic joy in us, so that you practice sati, dhammavicaya, virya, piti, passaddi, samadhi, upekka in a greater way, in a speedy way. So therefore, sympathetic joy or mudita, in other words, being able to be happy with other success, whether it is spiritual or, you are in a great state to be mindful. Your mind is inclining into the factors of enlightenment, because you have cut off so many unwholesomeness by being happy with other success. If you have no this quality in your mind, you are going to create anger with some people who always win the game. You must be angry with people who have been sitting in the bus. Sometimes you don't get a seat in the bus or in the train, right? If you don't have mudita in mind, you must be angry, because all these people have been sitting and I'm not having any seat. So you must be unhappy with those people who are sitting. But if you have mudita, what do you think? Oh my God, it doesn't matter for me to stand here because everybody else find good seat and they are very comfortable. Suppose you don't get very colorful dish of delicious food, but everybody else, oh, it's fine. Everybody else is eating very nice, very pleasant food. It doesn't matter. I'm happy because they have been having it, right? So how about when your child doesn't get anything, but everybody else children get very good admiration and so forth. So if you have mudita and other qualities, as we discussed, You're not going to worry because you have something to rely. Okay, it's fine. These mothers and fathers are so happy by looking at their children, and you feel the same even uh, if your child doesn't get anything because you have mudita. So mudita could cover many things for us. Uh, likewise, metta and also karuna, right? Karuna and also loving kindness could be very meaningful when mudita is developed into a certain extent. Right now, we go to the last one of the four Brahma Vihara, Upekka. It is also representing many Dhamma elements. As I said in some other discussion, mudita is also a perfection, paramita, upekka, and then it is also factors of enlightenment, and it also found in the fourth jhana as the main quality in that. So mudita is, upekka is always high with its capacity, and it is being developed with the support of many other practices, because upekka is the steady mind. When it comes to upekka, your mind is steady when you have it. In Mangala Sutta, we talks about being able to study on worldly things. I just want to remember that Pali stanza there. Anyway, so it is said in the teaching, especially in Mangala Sutta, that you are not shaken by fame and defame and gain and lost, and then what do you call reputation and bad reputation, and dukkha and happiness, and so on. So your reactions to for negative and for positive things is the same. So how could a normal person have has these unshakable deliverance of mind? It's impossible. So upekka is being developed by somebody with other qualities. In other words, without metta, karuna, mudita, you are not going to have upekka, because upekka is visible of a person character when only he or she practice more dhamma in life. When the Buddha was accused by some people with bad words, he was not happy. He was neither happy nor unhappy. When the Buddha was admired by kings, ministers, other religious people, he was not showing any positive or negative reactions, because the Buddha had equanimity um, into the highest extent. And even Arahants, when Venerable Sariputta was attacked by some people, he did not have any problem in his mind. He did not have any unwholesomeness in mind. When the Buddha admired Venerable Sariputta in front of great disciple, he did not have any, conceit or man in his mind. So that's because they have developed upekka into highest extent. So how could we develop upekka in day-to-day practice? When you get, actually it could be done. When you get something pleasant, when you get something adorable, when you get something very entertaining, just think that this is short living. This is going to be only for a short period of time. So I should not attach to this one. And when you get something upset in the television, in the media, or around you, act accordingly. But do not attach to it with suffering. Do not suffer a lot, because they are going to be sold out very soon. They are going to be ending very soon. So if you practice that unshakable mind over positive and negative things in the society, so that's a clear practice for upekka. Suppose somebody come and say that, oh, you are so beautiful today. What kind of things you do just to make your body so nice and so on. Now, a lot of people react to this, in a mundane sense. Oh, am I? So you have that mana in your mind, conceit in your mind, and so on. Suddenly, if you practice upekka from the very outset of its practice, internally you have thought, oh, I know that this body is fragile. This body could be showing some shine and kind of clear state because of the food I eat, because of the good sleep I have been having for several weeks, and so on. But this could change. This is subject to decay. So the whole teachings of the Buddha about impermanent suffering and non-self are being taken as a summarized version, and you suddenly think about it. So when somebody come and admire your physical beauty, you think that, oh, this is something, uh, decay, something to die. So why should I take it as people talk? So this is practicing equanimity, because you see the truth of your body. Suppose somebody come and blame you for something you didn't do, even something you do. There you don't react to it. That is because of the signs of upekka in your mind. You're undisturbed, because you see that these are only words. So these 4 Brahma Viharas as practices could be taken well in such a way from the very beginning in day-to-day life. So as they are the qualities or the characters of enlightened beings. However, that could be, these could be objects of practice for enlightenment too, for any person. That's why the Buddha talk about metta, karuna, mudita, upekka as meditation subject. So your main focal major point on your meditation is upekka or mudita or karuna or metta. So you understand the teaching behind the concept, so that you keep your mind on that. Many people are good with metta practice because we do it always, but a lot of people don't have that experience with karuna practice, mudita practice, and upekka practice. So that I urge you to think about they could be very powerful meditation subject. Let me talk about that a little bit. How do we practice mudita or upekka in our meditation? So when it comes to mudita, there you practice mudita means being able to take that spiritual happiness into your heart. So you, as I said, just one quality may not be able to practice alone. The support of the other qualities could be coming in. So mudita, okay, altruistic joy or sympathetic joy. I am being subject to decay, suffering, and all kinds of bad things, so that I should get out of it just by thinking right qualities. And you wish others to have the same thing. So let's talk about upekka. You have some bad experiences in meditation. You have some good experiences in meditation. So as a practicing wisdom, you take this mudita, okay, these negative emotions that I experience now could not be in my mind always. They have come because of some reasons, maybe I lack of mindfulness. so that they are here, but I know that they are going away. They are impermanent. So you are undisturbed by, bad experience on meditation. Suppose you get a very good, very nice experience in meditation. You're not going to, attach to it either, because you have upekka. I know that this could end, so that I am not making any story out of it. So just calm and peaceful. Looking at it from neutral point of view is the way you practice upekka. So when you come to social level, you can practice these things in numerous ways. Upekka. So you treat people, good people, and also bad people in an equal manner, which is also compassion, which is also loving kindness, which is also mudita. But your main theme of your effort is to practice upekka. You are undisturbed by even those bad words and misbehaviors, because you think they are humans and they do it because of the intense greed, hatred, and ignorance. So that's how you level yourself with upekka. Uh, as I said, four Brahma Viharas are clearing us the path for enlightenment, particularly practicing 7 factors of enlightenment. Based on upekka, based on mudita, it means having some sense of mudita and upekka, you'll practice mindfulness, Dhammavichaya, investigation, and then also other qualities, factors of enlightenment. The speed you have towards nirvana is highly appreciated. So therefore, these 4 Brahmaviharas are also called factors of concentration, because when you concentrate well, you can see those limbs of nirvana very well. To come to samadhi level or concentration level, you practice these 4 Brahmaviharas. So I can add many things one after the other. Sometimes you see them repetitive, because they have such repetitive aspect, but they are different. So anyway, I just want you to talk, you to share your thoughts on 4 Brahmaviharas. Most importantly, how to apply them in day-to-day life. That would be really important for others as well. So take your time to questions, to edit, to analyze, to add something about metta, karuna, mudita, and upekka. So I see Chandrainona has raised her hand. Please take your time.
Venerable Sir, I have 2 questions. One is, I read in that sutta that 1 quarter should be with metta, then the other quarter, then the other quarter. Actually, what does it mean by this 1 quarter, 1 quarter, 1 quarter, like that? I read it today and I couldn't understand. That's why I'm putting the question. The second one is just a way we practice upekkha. We did it with Vedana-anupassana. Vedana brings the shaky mind. So when we are practicing Vedana-anupassana, we could get into upekkha very easily. And then if we go further, we could get even higher levels of upekkha, like Sankara upekkha. That's all.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. The first concern is about quarter. I think that is the English word they use to explain ekadisang and so on. The particular meaning behind this is the direction, I believe. So quarter, 1 quarter, 2nd quarter, and so on, like the direction east, the south, and the west, and the north, up and down, and all around. So when it comes to translation, they use that just to explain the Pali term disa, I think. So if you see how metta is being practiced, as the Buddha said in discourses. You see, you fill your heart or the mind with the theory of loving kindness, metta, and then you look at the whole living beings, all living beings in the direction east. Whoever they are, in the direction of east, may they be well, may they be happy, may they be peaceful, and so on. Then you spend the time with that thought, with the living beings in the direction east as long as you can. Maybe 5 minutes, maybe 3 minutes, maybe 2 minutes, depending on how well you think. Then you turn into direction south without changing your mind. It means without letting your mind go somewhere else. Then you spend the same amount of time with metta in the direction of south, and that metta is for everyone and every living beings in the south. And without changing your mind to something else, you turn to the west. Likewise, you go around. It doesn't mean you turn your physical body at the face towards each direction. Mentally, you send these radiation of loving kindness towards each direction, covering all living beings. The very idea there is the ability to keep your mind unchanged on loving kindness. So that is being done with mindfulness, sati, sammaditthi, and sammavaya. So these three cardinal qualities come together to hold loving kindness without any change. So in addition to replying your concern on quarter, I would say that being in quarter, moving from this quarter, that means direction, and to another direction could happen without changing our mind. I think that is what I can say to the first concern. Quarter, I don't know why do they use it. Quarter, I would say direction would be much appropriate. That's what I understand. And the second concern you have is what is it?
Vedanānupassana.
Vedana, yes, indeed. If you have something pleasant, then you are not, taken it and attached to it. That means you are not going to, according to Indriya Bhavana Sutta and other suttas where the Buddha talks about to react to different types of feeling. Yes, you practice upekka there. So because you see that it is pleasant, it is enticing, it is entertaining, but you are not going to entertain your mind with the pleasant feeling. That is practicing upekka. Because out of these three types of feeling, what you get is upekka, vedana. The third type of feeling is always in 99 places in Tripitaka where three types of feeling are explained. The third feeling is explained as adukkama sukha. Sometimes with understanding we use upekka vedana to denote that it is a feeling that never represent unpleasant and neutral. But upekka vedana, when it comes to real Dhamma, it is beyond these three types of feeling: pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral. As you said rightly, yeah, when we talk about Vedana-Anupassana, we see the pleasant feeling and we do not attach to it. We see the unpleasant feeling and we are not going to fight with that. That is called upekka also. And we see the neither pleasant nor unpleasant feeling, that means dukkha sukha vedana, and we are going to understand it as it is. And it is also called moving to upekka, because you are not caught by any type of feeling. Yes, that is a very clear teaching. With Vedana-Anupassana, you practice upekka. And that is being always developed further until you sustain on the quality called upekka. Thank you very much for your addition. See, somebody is having... Yeah, we have a questions from Derek and I'm going to read it. Venerable friends, yes, there is a directional format to some Brahmavihara practice. I offer an opinion that the quarter commence is rather to show we should invest, I offer an opinion that the quarter commence is rather to show we should invest our heart, the mind to be equally invested in our in all four Brahmaviharas all at once. I offer this for individual consideration. So thank you, Derek, for your commentary. Yes. Yeah. So when you say, yeah, we divide things into categories. Suppose there are 4 qualities here as well: metta, karuna, mudita, upekka. So first you sustain with metta with the support of other teaching, then you focus the second one, third one, and so forth. And you divide you divide the world into 4 quarters. You can do that. So in the matter of better training, you can have such things: first quarter, second quarter, the third quarter, 4, maybe other quarters. So I think yeah, for Brahma Viharas also could be applied in such a manner, depending on your personal experiences. You can divide in such a way. I agree with that. Thank you very much for your consideration, and thank you very much for your additions. Anything other than we discuss? It's like the other teachings. We have to practice them in our life, in our behavior, in our mind. Then only we can open up the whole scope of loving kindness. Sometimes we may not be able to share everything we know about loving kindness, compassion, and mudita and karuna, or mudita and upekka, because they are type of feeling, they are type of experience. In commentaries, in suttas, and also books written by many scholars on for Brahmavihara, you find numerous stories of each qualities. I remember one story that is from, I think, Sri Lanka many hundred years ago. A person came from India to one of the monasteries in Anuradhapur area. As I remember, it's called Chittalapabbata, where many monks attain arahantship. So this person from India heard about it and came to Sri Lanka and became a monk. And he was meditating there for so long. No, actually he was meditating in Chittalapabbata Vihara as a high ordained monk only for 4 months, and he thought that I should go to another place. Then this monk heard somebody cry. Only thing he had is the sound, but nobody is visible there. Then he thought that it could not be a human, maybe some other beings. Then he asked, who is crying there? Then the divine being in the tree appeared in front of this monk and said that it is me who was crying. What is the reason for crying? Because you are going to go, you are going to leave from this place. So why do you cry over my leaving? Because Venerable Sir, when you are there, we are living peacefully. You don't say that, but there are many other divine beings close in the vicinity. And when you, because of you, we all divine beings stay friendly and peaceful. We look each other with friendly manner. And the center for this outcome is for you. Because of you, we have that type of living style here. So I know that if you leave this place, we are going to quarrel, we are going to have verbal fight, physical, I don't know whether there is a physical fight, but verbal fight, we will create anger. So this is This is what this divine being said. Then he thought, okay, if you have something good because of my presence here, then I don't go. He stayed another 4 months. Then right after the second 4 months, this monk is going to leave to another monastery. Then the same deity cried, and the same story. Like this same story goes on and on and on. And this monk didn't go to anywhere throughout his life. He passed away, actually. He passed away as an enlightened being. That's why those divine beings like this divine, this monk. So this story tells that your presence, if you have loving kindness, if you have Brahma Vihara in your mind, in your behavior, even non-human beings like you, your presence at your home, at your workplace, make something special, right? Because you are special. Your words are soothing and calming and beneficial for everyone. Your actions never hurt anybody. And you are a kind of gem over there, right? So that just your presence has made something significant for others. Perhaps they do not talk about you always. Perhaps they do not show that things always in their behavior. But when you are not there, they feel that because of this man, we were so happy. Because of this man, we were so good, and so on. So friends, this kind of stories are there in the teaching very much. So develop metta, karuna, mudita, upekka in a positive way, in a strong way, because they are not only making your environment happy for you and others, it is also, they are also the foundation for cultivation of 7 factors of enlightenment. So if you are interested in looking for those stories back from the Buddha's time, in the later period, in colonial period, even today's, you would be collecting many, because action of true nature of compassion is visible everywhere if there are good people, if there are kind people. Sometimes some theories could be easily learned and practiced with stories and examples. If there is nothing to share, yes.
So, and in summary, the first one is loving kindness. Second one is compassion. And third and fourth, I'm not really in English translation.
It's called joy.
Joy.
Not that simple joy. It's joy when you help somebody who really needs the help. It's called sympathetic joy. Your happiness is coming from real practice, and that's joy. Mudita is the, if you Google mudita words, our head priest's name is also Mudita, right?
Sympathetic joy.
Sympathetic joy and altruistic joy. So you get something out of it because it's an internal quality. It's a quality that shapes you very much into the Dharma. So you are treating exactly like enlightened beings, because when you develop mudita into a certain extent, you have been developed other qualities also. Last one is upekka. Upekka means you are balanced. You are in the middle, not falling into any extreme, right? You can stay away from any attachment, anything negative, because that quality called upekka is in you, which help you understand everything. We talk about the 8 worldly things. People can react to them immediately when they have it, but when you develop upekka, you are unshakable, just like a huge concrete, building is not shaken by wind. You are unshakable by all the matters happen to human life. So Upekka. We have another question from Derek. Is it fair to say that we place ourselves at risk of compassion, burnout, if we do not balance equanimity with karuna? Let me understand, rather karuna with equanimity. Let me read the question. Is it fair to say that we place ourselves at risk of compassion, burnout, if we do not balance equanimity with karuna? I would say we have to have a kind of, it's not a risk though, but when we go to help someone, let's understand this with examples. Suppose you go to help somebody who is really ill. And suppose it is one of your friends or very close one. So it is good. You are showing your karuna, you are showing your compassion. But if you don't have equanimity, if you don't have understanding about the illness, about the nature of life, you must be falling into a bad mood where you should have very strong, pleasant mood, because the patient, the person who is sick, is in really bad mood, and perhaps his mind is sick very much because of the physical ailment. So if you are going to cry, if you are going to say, oh my God, I don't know how to deal with, and so on, you have some sense of karuna there, but lack of upekka, lack of wisdom, make the situation worse for that particular patient mentally, because you show that you have fallen down. So that I think in practicing karuna, we should have a strong mind, equanimous mind. Upekka should come to help karuna to be a perfect one. Unless we have upekka with karuna, we might be crying with those people who are crying. We might be mourning, we might be having sorrow, lamentation with them, because we have been fallen into the same state they are. I think loving kindness should support with the other three qualities, and karuna should support the other. Every quality should come together. That's why these are in the same set. Yeah, I think karuna should be with equanimity. If nobody can practice one quality alone, because the dharma is such that there are causes for even one good quality based on other good some of those good qualities, like in samma ditti, samma vacha, samma ditti, samma sati, samma vayama. So that karuna should come with the presence of other qualities, and upekka also should be supported by loving kindness and so on. Otherwise, you must be like a very nasty person. So if you don't have karuna and loving kindness in your heart, you are not going to help anybody else. You do your activities as it is, and you think that it is not my business and so forth. And you must be a person without senseless person. Yeah. So I think each quality in Brahma Vihara should be supported together by each quality. So that's how we complete the training. I think my understanding is karuna should come with equanimity. All right, it's 9:15 now. I will have another program in in 1 hour time. Thank you very much for your concern and comments in the chatting box. Those questions by our good friends are really helpful things for us to explore the Dhamma. And those who listen to us, I know they have compassion for us, they have kindness about us, they have those qualities started in their heart. So we together and individually develop these qualities, and this whole program is because of compassion and also kindness for you, and your participation is kindness for you and compassion for you too and everybody else. Because when participants say many people are there in the discussion, they encourage. That is a kind of criterion for them to decide that this program is helpful. That's why these many people come and so on. So some actions of you turn into loving kindness, compassion, and so forth, because they are helping you and everybody else. So friends, let's cultivate pro Brahma Viharas. Just be a Brahma. That's mean an individual who doesn't have any unwholesomeness in mind. So that's the end of the training. And may these blessings be with you to make yourself a Brahma. And in other words, those good thoughts you develop by reflecting the Dhamma in this Sutta study class be with you and your loved ones, and may you all be able to attain Nirvana. With that wholesome thought, we are going to end today's Sutta discussion. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.